Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what sucked as a child but is lit as an adult? Going to bed early and having absolutely no plans on the weekend. As a child I would be devastated. As an adult, tears of joy. Not necessarily going to bed early, but going to bed whenever you feel like it, still with no plans for the weekend, of course. I've been falling asleep on the couch a lot. House isn't thrilled. Body isn't interested in becoming awake enough to move to the bed. Taking a nap. Came here to say this. I work as a nanny and the amount of times the kid is fighting nap time and I'm like, you don't know how good you have it right now. I wish someone made me lunch then told me to take a nap every afternoon. My sons always asked when they would be grown up. My stock answer, when you want to take a nap. Both are all grown up and they both understand. I've often said that babies crying because they are tired is the most backwards thing. As babies, that is the one time in life they can just go to sleep whenever they like. If anyone should be allowed to cry because they are tired, it's adults who aren't allowed to go to sleep right now but need to. Having nothing planned. Exactly. Waking up on Saturday morning and realizing you have nothing to do today. Yay, if I'm up before 10 a.m. on a Saturday, you know it's still cartoons time. Quiet lol. As someone with significant tinnitus, remembering quiet brings tears to my eyes. Enjoy your quiet. I realized earlier that my tinnitus wasn't bad today, and that made me happy for the day. Learning. It's so fun to study your things of interest at your own pace, with materials and tutors you picked for yourself, and without an annoying group of people you're forced to study with. Once learning became about curiosity for the subject rather than acquiring life-defining grades, it became one of the coolest things I've ever enjoyed. Receiving socks or books as gifts. And underwear, YTF are they so expensive? Exclamation mark. And, because the basics are so expensive, I just go ahead and drop a few extra for the higher quality shot, with a separate junk compartment. Going to bed at 9 p.m. The dream. In the same vein, naps. Yeah, there's no way I'm falling asleep at 9, but I'm all in for a nap. Staying in on a nice Friday night. I think there's no actual age this hits, but I remember somewhere around 28-29 where Friday nights started to end at 10 p.m. and I wasn't upset at that. Yes, in college, parties would start at 10 p.m. Getting spanked. Haha, you nasty. That highly depends on who is spanking me. Are we talking stepmom or stepdad? And are they spanking you because you got stuck in the dryer, windowsill, couch again? Man, this really went downhill fast. Routine. I am tired of my messed up life. I feel this super hard. Stability is the bomb. The old vacuum that caught fire on my 18th birthday. Convoluted, but good. Days where I don't do anything at all lol. Taking showers. Long hot ones. Exclamation mark. Long hot ones, the death by orgasm story. Water. Used to be mere as kid, my favorite thing to drink as an adult. Sometimes you take a drink of water and it's just like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. Let's raise our glasses to water. Clink. Vegetables. Roasted on the grill. Seared with garlic butter. I've disliked most vegetables all my life. Finally started roasting them and now I eat them up. Delicious and sweet, from caramelization. Closing parenthesis. Being a passenger in a car. As a single mom I yearn every day to be a passenger even for a short drive. I drive for 5 humans. Send help. Gifts that the giver made. Appreciated thought. I liked those as kids. They felt very personal. Spent many years holding on to stuff that others would find unappealing just for sentimental value. In 3rd grade one made a toilet roll stand where the top was a green ghost with skulls for hands. Apparently 3rd grade me thought skulls and ghosts were really cool. I gave it to my grandparents. Grandpa, who was a retired carpenter, loved it. Sadly, as of a few weeks ago, they are both dead. As ugly as that stand is, it will remain with me for the rest of my life. School, couldn't stand it as a kid, went back to college in my late 20s and finally felt like I was equipped to tackle it. Earned my associates and bachelors with honors for both. They say, you learn by doing. In many ways, school is just learning how to be an adult but without the actual experience of being an adult. It's not until you've tried the real thing that you're truly ready to learn. Plans cancelling. I used to cry when something got cancelled. Now I praise God. Me too. And I'm an atheist. 4. Don't break your hip. 75% of elderly people that break their hip never leave the hospital. Edit for the fact checker in the comment. Mean follow-up was 3.7 years, range 0 to 9 years. Overall 1-year postoperative mortality was 27.3% and mortality after hip fracture at the end of the follow-up was 79.0%. 79% die before they're released from the surgeon's care, not before they leave the hospital. If you're looking for medical stats on a shitpost, you may want to rethink your approach to healthcare literacy. Not if they spring forward. So true, I used to dread it a little as the beginning of the school year, now it's probably my favorite time of the year. Sometimes it's a toss-up between spring and fall. Summer is too hot now, which was naturally my favorite time of the year as a kid. No homework. Open mouth smile. Bedtime. Early nights. Going for a walk, how I hated it, how boring it was, and now it is just pure bliss. Being told what to do. OMG. You give me detailed directions and a time frame to do them in drooling face, drooling face, drooling face, drooling face. Shopping for clothes. When I was a little kid, all I ever thought about were toys. Now all I want is something else to wear and more space where my old toys are taking up a lot of room. At which age shopping for clothes gets fun? I am in my mid-40s and it still hasn't become fun yet. Getting socks for Christmas. Naps. Asparagus. In the same vein, roasted Brussels sprouts. Grilled Brussels sprouts. Green asparagus fried in butter and garlic. Damn. September. September was at least nice weather when I was a kid. As an adult, September is now just August light due to climate change. Dude, it's so fucking hot and it's almost October. Tears of joy, we are so screwed. Shopping in the garden section, smiling face. Staying home, cancelling plans, going to bed. Taking pills, LMAO. Good one. Being able to go to bed early. Downloading large files, back when someone else picked up the phone. Telephone, thank goodness for YMODEM and ZMODEM protocols that allowed resuming interrupted downloads. 45 minutes to download a grainy, interlaced grayscale, educational picture, or was that a .mov? ETA, stuff. Fuck yeah, Z modem. Loved me some download managers too back in the day. Mom, I'm on IRC with my friends, get off the phone. Yes, download managers changed the game up. Receiving clothes as gifts. Getting my wiener touched by a woman in her 30s. Oh my gosh, dude, are you okay? Question mark. No dude, he's a cannibal. Confused face. Sorry, I hope you're in therapy. Boy, do I hope you had to have a urological assessment as a child. Girls lol. Staying in your room. I think that's more of a time period thing than age. When I was a kid, we had one TV in the house and it wasn't in my room. The only thing I could really do in my room was listen to headphones and read. But nowadays people can enjoy countless hours in their rooms with the internet, 4K TVs, streaming, video games, etc. Yup. Going to your room was a legit punishment before all the tech. Doubly so if you had a small ranch house and heard everyone else laughing at The Simpsons on TV and you knew you were missing that episode for good. No DVR, etc, etc. Hated it lol. That really depends on what you have in your room. For some kids, going out of their room is a punishment. Eating all your vegetables. Sex. Lol, I was going to post this but thought, too dark. PPL won't get it. Read the title and my first thought was, anal. Being home alone. At 15 I was a kid, and being home alone back then was a blessing. IYKWIM. Raw tomatoes. Picked off the vine from backyard gardens. Add a little salt and it's the best snack ever now. At last, another person who calls uncooked veggies raw. My sir insists that veggies are fresh, can be eaten uncooked, meat is raw, must be cooked to eat safely. Brussels sprouts. Fun fact, that has nothing to do with growing up. They bred the bitter tasting compound out of Brussels sprouts over the last 30 years or so. ITT, people who need to get more sleep. Being by myself. Leftovers. Vaccines. The shot sucked as a child and was dreaded. As an adult, I get to check off a disease from my list of things to worry about. I wish I had grown out of my fear. It's kinda embarrassing. I haven't done blood work for years now, but I am planning strategies to zone out and mute the sound environments during the extraction. Not sure if this will help you at all, but I grew to tolerate vaccines and blood work by thinking I'm a character in my favorite sci-fi show. I would need to be able to deal with needles if I wanted to explore the universe like in Stargate. I have been an active blood donor for almost 11 years. And you really get used to it. I still refuse to look at the needle, and just chat with the nurse, worker and watch stupid animal videos or the surroundings, actively keeping my mind on other things. Visiting my grandparents. Hated it as a kid but cherish it now. Cherish it as long as you can. I am only 34 but lost all my grandparents by the time I was 28. My mom passed 4 years ago. Anyone reading this, cherish and spend time with your family often if you're close and have a good relationship with them. I'd do anything to be able to spend one more day with them. Sitting alone at lunch. Don't approach me, don't talk to me, don't refer to me. Leaving amusement parks early. I used to want to stay until they closed the park and would be livid at my parents when we would leave before closing hours. Now, I'm ready to go as soon as I ride what I can because most of the lines are too long. Being left alone. Anal. Funny, very twisted, but funny. Hardware store. My kids enjoy going to Home Depot because I take them to the Saturday craft events. They associate the hardware store with building wooden toys and painting them pink. First Saturday of every month at 9 a.m. Go look up Home Depot Kids Workshops if you don't know about this and is interested. Fucking meatloaf, man. Getting socks as a gift. When I was a kid it was the most worthless gift, complete disregard and disgust toward the person that gifted it. Now they are the most precious of items, and I show love to the individual that takes the time to do such a thoughtful thing. Getting any gifts at all, honestly. It's so nice to be thought of. I grew up in a large family, and me and my brothers would just somehow acquire a never-ending stock of underpants and socks which magically appeared in the shared laundry basket in the hallway. We all had our own clothes and sorted those apart, but underwear was just a big free-for-all. However, every time one of us moved out, they'd just grab a bunch of their favorites and take it with them. I did the same, but naturally the magic replenishment ceased to work, so eventually, after they all were FUBA, I somehow found myself in the situation of having to buy my first pair of boxers in my late 20s. It was the strangest thing ever. So yes, people gifting underwear are literal saints. That'll last me for another year, I would say. Please, I think my mother would punch me if she read this. Even though I did call her magical.